size of that whammer?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to another episode of WHAM. Trying different pronunciations of the show's name, mostly because I whammed so hard a couple of weeks back that it was really hard to get through the episode. So I had to change my ways.
Is that where you've done your ligament?
Possibly.
We'd like to put full disclosure just before we were catching up on the various shenanigans. And after last week's recording, Adam had chest pains.
I had chest pains. I had to go to hospital. I had to have blood tests and EGMs and all that type of thing. And it turned out I just torn a ligament in my chest.
I just want to say I have been on record several times about you're going to do yourself a mischief. I don't want to say I told you so, but
I whammed myself so hard.
yes.
I tore a ligament in my chest.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Full advance notice, I am hay fever quite severely today, so there may be random bouts of sneezing, of which I apologise because my sneeze is one, very high pitched, and two, terrifying if you're not experienced it. So that happens.
If I just cut out all your sneezes and then just make that little super cut at the end of the show.
Christ is what that would sound like. It's like some kind of murder. like someone's eviscerating a Muppet.
Oh, what I'm actually thinking is just using it as the drum beat for I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
That would be a choice.
And the only reason that's in my head is because, for reasons unbeknown to me, have you heard the Space Marine singing I'm Still Standing?
I have not.
Right. So someone out there made a video of a Space Marine. The entire idea is, brother, your channel is open. Please stop singing. I'm still standing no matter what I'm in. And it's got this amazing bit where instead of having the choral bits at the back, it's just another Marine going, ah! And it's absolutely brilliant. And I thought, it's a really cool thing, but no one's made the music fit a bit better. So I spent some time this morning trying to make a more Space Marine sounding background music for I'm Still Standing. This is how I spend my days.
It keeps you off the streets and doing other more nefarious things, so you know.
It's not like I've got an actual backlog of things I should be getting on with. But no.
That's always the fun daft things come into play every now and then. You're like, yeah, you know what, I should be doing this, but this is much more fun. I'm doing that instead.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I should really be editing some of these shows, these vast amounts of shows and things that I put out each week. But no, I'm going to sit here and make Space Marines sing I'm Still Standing.
Yeah.
Down tuning my guitar to D, just trying to play it.
1998 called, wants this guitar stylings back.
1998 called, and it can stay in 1998. I still live that music. Oh, weirdly enough, I went on a journey this week, Andy. I went on an early 90s journey. Because it's been many, many years since I've listened to Guns N' Roses' Use Your Illusions Parts 1 and 2.
You have my sympathies.
Well, funnily, I've got a lot of really positive thoughts about those two albums, which I was surprised, genuinely surprised at.
I've not listened to it in a dog's age, but my opinion back in the day, and when I did listen to it reasonably regularly, is like, yeah, there's one really good album in there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
If you just went, yeah, these could all just be very good B-sides, then you'll have the album of all albums.
Yeah. Now, what really threw me is, I mean, you think of Axl Rose, you kind of only think about what he became. I mean, he's always been a dick. Yeah, there's no two argument about that. But you also forget that how talented the man was as a singer and how talented he was as a lyricist. There's stuff in those two albums which is like genuinely impressive lyrics. Civil War, and it's did you wear a black armband when they shot the man who said peace could last forever? It's like, that's good. That's really, really good. And then you listen to Chinese Democracy, Sattler's Revenge, and you just, oh God, no.
I don't think I think the entire world would very much like to collectively agree that Chinese Democracy did not actually happen.
I'm all in favour of that. It's annoyingly though, I had a bet on, and this bet went from 2002 until whenever Chinese Democracy came out, and the bet was Duke Nukem Forever will come out before Chinese Democracy.
That's a foolish bet.
I was annoyed. I was genuinely annoyed. Like,
God. Put yourself to blame for that one. My sympathy is limited on that, but it's kind of similar. We kind of speculate. It's like about what's like there's certain films that if they ever come out are harbingers of the apocalypse because they've been so doomed. Sadly, what's on the horizon? That's Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
The others are the sequel to Spawn. You know, the one that Todd's been promising for as long as several people have been listening to this podcast have been alive.
Do you know what my favourite part of the year is? And this is not a joke. This is something me and my brother, we look forward to every year. And it's when Todd McFarlane teases an update on the Spawn film.
Oh, that's great.
Every year, the tease is exactly the same. We have a script. We have a director. And we have ideas. And it's been the same thing for 16 years. It's great.
During the last couple of years when Blumhouse took up the option, you kind of thought, oh, right, that might actually happen now.
Mm-hmm.
And to know it did not.
But it's now called King Spawn, so there's been a title change.
But yes, on to the other one. One that got added to the race around 2007 was Robotech. And that's an option around about TF, and that kind of got there. But there's certain things that if they ever happens, like, you know, we're screwed. But it doesn't matter, we're screwed anyway, because the prediction I made when I was a teenager was about to come true. I predicted World War III would kick off and it would be Israel that started it.
Oh. Yep.
Apparently Teenage Turnbull was an absolute seer.
There's a series of books by a guy called Dennis E. Taylor called The Bobbyverse. And it's all the story of a guy who is run down and killed outside San Diego Comic-Con and becomes a AI, and it's turned into a von Neumann probe. I haven't given it a very good description there. They are really good books. The sheer amount of humanity in those books is insane. It's like an American Pratchett, and I don't mean that lightly. Yeah, the guy is really, really good. And when he's talking about the 300 years that he missed, every single one of those points that he speaks about in this fictional book appears to be coming true. I'm starting to freak out. All I'm going to say now is, if somebody starts turning Washington into Heidelberg, then I've got a problem. I'm leaving the planet. I'm going.
Wow.
Yeah, should we speak about something a bit less terrifying?
Yes, so we're up to the issue 13 of WHAM Monday.
I realised I say something a little less terrifying, and then I opened the cover and have that cover staring at me. No, yes. That's quite terrifying in and of itself.
Yes, so number 13 again for the princely sum of £2.95 $2.95 in the United States, £2 for the UK. Everyone else, don't know. I don't care enough about your exchange rates to work that out. And it'll be about $4.
Yeah.
So, terrifying cover, as Adam says, is we have Simon Harrison doing Shadowfast, blades out, getting ready to fight.
it's gorgeous. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is terrifying because that elf is about to eviscerate you. But whoa, what a cover.
I do love how his elf is not kind of the Tolkien-esque elf.
No.
In that they're not, it's not beautiful, they're inhuman.
Yeah.
And I don't mean inhuman in a disparaging way, I mean as in they are not human.
Yeah, you could not think that this is a human character. This is a very much a feral creature that is barely at civilization. It's gorgeous.
Civilization as we would know, because obviously they have their own older civilizations and what have you. But yeah, he's basically the Blades Arc. It's a gorgeous painted cover.
Mm-hmm. It may actually be one of my favourite covers that we've had on the front of the magazine so far.
It's my top cover, but again, no surprise. As anyone who's listened to any episodes knows, how high an esteem I hold Simon Harrison. But no, it's a good cover. It's a good action shot. Yep. But it's also colour choices. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of warm colours in there. There is at the very bottom when you see him. He's effectively cutting away something ethereal, or could be anything. But that's where you're getting a little bit of orange and some yellows in there. But everything else is very blues, greens, some very dark blacks, and some nice off-white highlights. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And again, it also means that cover logo pops off it as well. So it
really does. And I don't even have anything bad to say about the font and the colorization of the font. It's not something I usually enjoy, but I actually think it works really well here.
Yeah.
Having that starry background within the letters.
Yes, and it's quite dark, so the white around the text pops, so you can actually read everything. So it does actually work. So no, it's my favourite cover of the series so far.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to go through and kind of, at some point, I think what I might just do. This is what I was saying before about there's things I should really be doing, but I'm going to do this instead. I might, over time, start putting these into an order of best to worst. That could be quite a fun little pastime. How to spend a Sunday afternoon. I could do some actual work. No, I'm going to rate WHAM monthly covers.
Well, we did talk about we probably want to at some point just do a bonus. Let's look at. We're now a year in, effectively. We're 13 issues in, but the book's been on the shelf now for a year.
Yes,
if you want to put it that way. So we can now probably start having a look at ranking things and putting things into best and worst.
Yeah.
I mean,
that might be something to do when next we meet.
Yes. I think that the rankings will only come because we can each do our own, and then we'll do an amalgamated one. I think it's probably the fairest of it, because there'll be some differences of opinion on a couple of bits, but I think we can all agree that there'll be certain ones. There won't be much fighting over where their positions are. We'll see no more on that.
I think there'll be some arguments about the top three positions.
Yeah.
Just because we'll have, I think it'll be the same three ones, just where they fit. Yeah. But I think the bottom two are going to stay very much.
Oh yes, I do not. Will be much fighting over what's poorest.
Fucking Curse and Bois. There'll be a point where I don't think about the Curse of Dubois, and that'll be a good day. Right. Issue 13. So, inside this comic, we have Inquisitor, we have Dedication, a new one-shot, Dreams of Lustria, Shadowfast, and Ravenwing continues. We have, of course, the two little guys doing their thing. It's not the worst that they've been, but yeah, they're there. And then next month, the threat.
Yeah. See, you've glossed over. So before we get onto this, because we will have words. What this is, one thing that is now annoying me is when we have the little one shots. Why not just say it's a one?
Actually, yes, that's a fair point.
It's now getting to the point. It's like, yeah, it's Dedication. What's that? It's like, are we getting a story or a series of stories? Just a little bit, just saying it's a one-off and not an ongoing series.
Yeah, hi. I mean, Inquisitor, investigate how deeply. Yeah, that feels like it's continuing. Delphor Dancer continues his quest in Shadowfast. Ravenwing after destroying the Gargant. Yeah, that gives you an idea that it's continuing. Yeah, dedication, and to be honest with you, dedication, the way it's described, it sounds like it's a second part. And Dreams of Lustria
tells you it's part one. But then it really reads like that's the point you should be pointing out. And I know you glossed over the two arseholes.
Mm-hmm.
But I read mistake when I was reading this. And it made me fucking furious.
Is it the Emperor, forgive me, I'm fed up of being a space marine. I just want to settle down and raise some chickens. Have a little farm somewhere, a shop maybe. Anything but fight, just give me peace.
Yeah.
Was it that?
Yeah. I know, because it would be a time thing for us to rag on this everything, but this is an absolute disgraceful waste of fucking paper.
Oh, 100%. Because it's not even... They're not in character.
It doesn't serve anything. It's fucking annoying. And whoever wrote that, if they even remotely have any sense of pride in that, fucking hang your head in shame. It's fucking abhorrent.
Yeah. What drives me insane, and it's something I made the decision internally a while back not to kind of get into, but as you brought it up, I will say, these two don't serve any masters at all, because they're not in character for the characters they're meant to be portraying. If they were just broad strokes characters, then that would be fine. If they were something else that were just doing the same thing, it would be okay, you know. But the fact that you have these two characters who are meant to be the introduction to the magazine, and they are meant to be introductions, because every issue is going to be somebody's first. They should be introductions to the world. They should be introductions to the characters, the concepts, the ideas, and it doesn't have to be in depth, but just a little bit of forethought is that introduction. That's how you get people in. And what you have is two Muppets who are just babbling. And it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't half the goddamn page.
It's the fact that if that was the first thing I read in that magazine, it would get put back on the fucking shelf.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute crime. And it reeks of something that's either, as I've said before, either chucked together at the last minute with a little care and forethought, or it sounds like, it reads like it's something that gets folk amused behind the scenes and backstage. In which case, either my response to either is fuck you for both.
Absolutely.
Because you want me to pay money. If you want to do self-indulgent stuff, do self-indulgent stuff. But if it gets in the way of the reading experience, piss off.
Yeah. And it does. These two get in their own way constantly. They shouldn't be here. And the best example I've got here is you can be funny with this stuff. You can do amusing stuff. You think back to 5th Ed Warhammer Fantasy Battle and how you had those little tiny pictures in the corners, and it was everything from a cold one smelling a giant bit of poo that another cold one had dropped on the floor, to some Empire men falling over because their trousers had fallen down. They were little bits of humour in a grimdark setting. These two aren't that, because they are not connected to anything within the world or within the lore or within... They don't even have a connection to anything in the comic. Yeah. They stand out like a sore thumb, and they fail at every conceivable part of what they're trying to achieve, and it's infuriating.
Yes. Oh. Because I read that, I was slightly less annoyed that Darkblade's back. that took the sting out of that, because I thought I mistakenly read it and went, oh, yeah. So lovely to see Kev Hopgood back on art.
Absolutely.
Big fan of his work. Again, it's more just I don't have a reason to care that he's back. I mean, I will enjoy looking at Kev's artwork, but as far as the story goes, don't care.
Yeah. We will see. Hopefully, the second run of Darkblade picks up a bit better than the first one did. But yeah, I'm not overly hopeful. I will say as well that this issue has the most annoying cutouts that we've had in a little while, because I cannot, other than the big lizard eye, I cannot make out a single thing in those cutouts in the inside this comic. They're too small.
Yeah, and get the shape of the orc for Ravenwing. It's clearly a Bretonnian knight. I'm assuming it's a demon monster thing for Inquisitor, and Shadowfast, I'm not sure if that's one of the possessed souls or what have you, but yeah, it's not. Again, it's a case of resize the images and bring them up.
Yeah.
If you're doing thumbnails like that, make it so it's legible. So
yeah. Or, you cut down these two idiots and use that space to do what's inside the comic.
As we said.
Yeah, that's my idea. That's my plan. So we're moving on, and there are some letters. Some
nominally answered by one of the idiots.
Yes, and unfortunately so. I'm not going to go through the letters too much because I always feel a bit weird about reading out people's letters from a long time ago. It's one of those.
It's more just if there's anything you want to. It feels mean criticizing them for their opinions. That's what we would really be doing there, which is kind of because to criticize one of their opinions, Mr. Lee Davis of London, you really like Dwarf Lords, which is that is absolutely you're right. But if we were to talk about that, we would end up being rude. And and the whole point is, as I've said before, all of this is just our opinion. It doesn't mean we're right.
No, of course not.
Although, if you ask me, I'll tell you absolutely 100%. It does mean I'm right. But this is just an opinion, our opinion. It just happens we overlap in certain things.
Yeah.
And certain but it's the telling thing. What I like to look for on a letters page, particularly that is you're trying to get an idea of, because a letters page is never a true reflection of the letters, because it's selected by that. So you get some interesting things in letters pages, because I do remember Eric Larson doing an interview years ago. Well, it was before he went to Image, when he took over Spider-Man from Todd McFarlane, the aforementioned. He of Spawn fame, and he was doing an interview, and he was talking about he recognised he was kind of rough and ready, and he was doing Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that run.
But if you read the letters page, apparently everyone was shitting on his art from a great height, and he just kind of goes, "It's nice." It's just every issue. It's like you get your comps. It's like it's just an editor. Do you have to print every letter that says they don't like my art? So it's important to note that a letters page will generally, more often than not, be overtly positive. You will get the odd occasional one where they will chuck stuff in, and certain editors in certain books over the years have made a point of trying to be well-rounded. But you're also at the mercy of what are you going to get in as well, because I say there are very we talked about this previously. Just there are certain letter writers who became of note in the US, more so in the US comic fandom than the UK, because obviously we were generally pitched lore. But again, your Lab Beamers, your team, and Maple Beaks, these are folk whose, when their letters went in, it's like, oh, there's usually something in here worth paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And because they wrote quality letters, and they would get in a number of titles. But
recognizable names always create that sense of familiarity, and that's always going to
sense of
connect to.
Sense of community as well.
Absolutely. But what I wanted to point out here is there is a lot of interesting little bits here that, whilst they're not the opinions, that the archivist in me always reads the letters pages to understand the lay of the land as it was in 1999. It's just how my brain works. It's how I like to read up on these things. I like to get that archivist brain running. And there's a few things here that I wanted to get into. One is from Kim, and I apologize for if I get your name wrong, Kiran Maramamas, who says, I heard a rumor that a Warhammer Monthly will be published in color. I believe you should continue in black and white because it gives an image only. A black and white can present. What about any new stories? That's all I wanted to ask. And it's interesting to me because at this point, how many black and white strips were there on the UK stands?
So in terms of that, 2000 AD was nominally full color, but would revert to black and white depending on the story. But you more of that in the Meg.
Yeah.
In the magazine, but you would have it would be part of a mostly color. By that point, Beano and Dandy are all pretty much full color, I think.
Yep, they are.
Commando, God bless you. Being the only real sort of mainstream black and white presence.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. That you had Commando and possibly something that was republishing something older. But outside of that,
well, to be fair, manga's making its footholds slowly at this point.
But it's not on the newsagent stands.
Yeah, but at this point you'll be going to like a WH Smith to get it, which has a bookshelf, so it's not as rigidly delineated as it was back when we were lads, when it was But manga's had its first foray really in the early 90s. Didn't quite get the penetration it got in the 2000s onwards.
No. Well, at this point, Manga Mania would have come to an end.
I think
Manga Mania would
not long dead, probably.
No, it won't be long.
9. If you can pad air while I Google.
Well, Manga Mania, they had a tendency of reprinting older strips in the magazine itself. So you'd get things like Dirty Pair, you'd get things like Appleseed was in there.
Era, obviously, to start with.
Mm-hmm.
2000. So no, Manga Mania is still kicking about on the shelf, but if memory, it kind of moves more to kind of like a magazine-y looking thing rather than the original Manga Mania, which was very much comic-based. But no, Manga Mania is still kicking about.
Okay.
I did know it kind of leapt up. It went longer than you would think.
Mm-hmm. That's actually quite surprising. I didn't think that Manga Mania lasted through the millennium. Cool. Good old Manga Mania.
Yeah, well done. If only it could have lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah, if it lasted another 3-4 years, it would have taken off for a second run. Yeah.
I would say if it lasted another year and a half.
Possibly, yeah.
You're thinking late 90s is 99. When does Pokemon really hit the UK hard?
2001.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, Manga Mania could have started running Digimon reprints. Oh, that would have saved it.
Yeah. So, but the point about black and white's nice that someone's going to call it. However, they ignore that entirely. Don't actually answer it.
No, I was going to bring that up. Yes, so Malice will be indeed returning to find his lost soul in the very next issue, and both BloodQuest and Titan will be back very soon too. Thank you for nothing.
Yep. The editor in me just goes, why is there 2 at the end of very soon? It's entirely superfluous. Get rid of that.
Yep.
Just look at that. I'm reading. I go, edit that. But,
there was another one in here that I wanted to mention. Let me just find it. Here it is. So, I always like it when people write letters in character. And Zogan Bookbasher writes his entire letter in with, "You boys is doing a great job, as I really enjoy reading the books that you make, like Warhammer Monthly, as long as the boss don't catch me. However, this month something went horribly wrong, cause the boss is gonna find out I've been reading his Warhammer Monthly number 8. I know he's gonna find out cause I cut the last page the Beaky comic to enter the cool competition, and now Strike gets very, very narky. If he catches anyone reading his comic, this means that when he finds out I ain't gonna be joining any good scraps of wargs for ages. Bash ya over the head with thanks, Zolkin Book Basher." that made me really happy, because that someone wrote that and they spent time working it out, and that's great fun.
The rather telling thing is, and several of the letters actually are one published or one's talking about what models that they want from the book.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Cal Jericho gets mentioned, Ethereal Stern gets mentioned, Inquisitor Hand, Commissar Gaunt, which I think is really cool, and it takes a while before Gaunt gets anything. When did Commissar Gaunt get a miniature? It's ages off.
Yeah, and someone wants Blood Quest as well, because they're asking for Cloten and Tranio. It's like, okay.
Mid 2000s. Yeah, the thing is, though, with the Blood Quest Space Marines, you could make those very, very easily using the box set that existed at that time.
Yeah, there's... from memory serves, until they get to later books and certain things happen. But
yeah,
I just have memories of a couple of panels. But again, keeping to the rules, we will not speak of it here.
No, we'll just keep on going. We'll get to things. We will get there in the end. Yeah, all in all, I mean, the letters pages. There's a lot of people talking about what they like, and that's good. Always do that. Talk about what you enjoy. Even though Dwarf Lords was terrible. But yeah, it's all in all quite enjoyable. Shall we?
Yes.
So I promised myself I was going to try and do this with a straight face. Shall we get into Inquisitor with Chapter 3 of the Taint of Nicodemus?
Yes. So Gravier. I don't sound northern enough when I say his name. That's the only thing. That needs a big deep Yorkshire accent from Gravier.
Gravier.
So we see them looking at the exposed tunnel / part of the building that was hidden in plain sight, and we see all sorts of shadowy things that don't look pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with a shadowy tentacle and random bits of human bodies all leaping towards them. Gravier looks suitably worried. Gravier, Defay, however, just... To be honest, I have a criticism about that. We are going with rule of cool rather than ready to fight. Because your sword looks like it's more... Chainsword looks like it's going to rip your thigh / air hole more before it gets anywhere near whatever...
What it's going to do, it's going to get caught in his cape and he's going to strangle himself with it.
He's going to dollar bill himself from Watchmen.
Ow.
Yeah, so it's a nice pose. Sets up the scene, but it's like, yeah. I'd also go, why are you looking to Gravier? Why are you looking to your master rather than the whole of fucking monsters behind you? That could be because you're a neophyte, in which case I will overlook that. Defay should scold you.
Yep, he should definitely get deducted some marks there for not looking at the tentacled beasts as they stride forth from the abyss. Rather, staring right. Maybe he's just looking at his master's chainsaw going, the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
no, don't do that.
Right. The fuck, he's going to kill himself.
I'm never going to get out of here alive.
So, as we see, basically, there's a whole host of mutated characters. I'm assuming it's that family's got some either the Taint of Chaos or the Taint of Brother Humping Sister. Possibly both.
It could be both. It's a Slaneshi cult, you know.
Yeah. But they all come running towards Defay instantly. Just one jumps. He just goes, The Cardinal that we kind of went last issue, we seem to have misinterpreted him slightly more harshly, as we'll come to on this one, in terms of his potential motives.
Yes.
It's just at this point, it's like, pass me my ceremonial staff. And you're like, all right. And then, so Gravier's just like, my master, your heart. And he's like, don't worry about me. Check your aim, pick your targets. We won't last a minute if we stop to think. Sound advice?
The wonderful thing about comics is that it takes less time to say something than it does to do something. It's the thing in comics. It's always been in comics, where people have the time to say things as they roll along the floor.
Yeah. So you then have Gravier basically going his master's right, every second counted, every tactical edge I've been given in training. In the face of chaos, there should be no hesitation or consideration, no mercy, and he then shoots one of them dead.
I love this though. If humanity is to survive, it must deny every shred of the chaotic influence. But perhaps I dwelt on this philosophy too long.
And then Defay shouts from off panel, Gravier behind you. And then the Cardinal Sarthos twats him with his ceremonial staff.
I was going to say, gets him with the twatting stick.
Yep.
I was genuinely surprised how much the Cardinal steps up.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
I thought you know something's going on, you're just cowardly and all that. And it's like, so I have him defy, the creature is dead and your pupil is safe. And Gravier thanks the Cardinal. And it's like, immediately it's like, not now, boy, there's work to be done. And it's like, oh, there's a bit of steel here compared to what we had last issue, which he kind of he didn't shy away from Defay, so it wasn't that there wasn't any steel necessarily, but you kind of thought, yeah, you're just accustomed to being master of your own little fiefdom.
Mm-hmm. When the reality is, no, he's a triple-hard bastard that apparently got to his position through sheer force of will and beaten.
Yep. And so it's like the Cardinal speaks right, must root out this pestilence and burn it away. So Defay is just making short work of them with the chainsword. Gravier just starts emptying clips into a creature that's attacking him. And you then go back to the Cardinal Sarthos face from the last issue.
Yeah.
When it's over, Inquisitor, a job well done. So it's kind of, maybe he's a bit more languid rather than anything else. It's just kind of, I'm roused when I need to be, then when I'm not, it's just like...
Well, the difference between his two expressions, when there's work to be done and when the work's finished, it's like night and day. It's brilliant. It's just like Jekyll and Hyde. He's great.
Puts me in mind of Elric.
Yes.
Murkoch yes. With Sushant's sort of way when he's tired and he doesn't have it, and then obviously when Stormbringer's there, blood and souls for Ariok, and it's like, yeah, full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah, no, I can totally get behind that. And
it's like, so job there it is over, Inquisitor. Job well done. So it's congratulate, we're good. We've done it. It's like, wait. And then you get, I love panels like this in comics. Comics do this better than anything else, where it's just like, because you can play with lighting in a way that you can't do anywhere else. And that, oh yeah. But, and you can see he's seen off camera what it's like, wait, I said, and then lots of faces and teeth.
And tentacles, and my favourite thing in the world, where there's just a couple of giant crab claws.
Yep.
You see Defay's coat.
Yeah.
Right? So look at the bottom of his coat and then just look to the right and tell me that that's not Burke from Trapdoor.
It does have kind of the big surprised eyes, so yeah, it could be that or Marvin the Martian.
Or Marvin the Martian, yep, completely.
Yeah, but no, it does have that big surprised daft coat. And then you've got the one single eye and above his shoulder to the right.
Yep. There's just this one giant staring eye, like a cacodemon from Doom.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Genuinely, there's a real sense of like a British talent taking on an American style here. That's the best way to describe it. There's a lot of very early image in the way that the faces are all put into the shadows, which I am absolutely here for. Yes, that's right, kids. I said something good about image.
It did a lot of good. It just also produced a lot of crap.
Yes.
So again, we then get a slightly more frenetic fight.
Yeah. The fact that first panel's all in silhouette, You don't get to see what the creatures look like. You just get the shadows and the shapes. It's so good.
It's one of these things, though, that it's always good because whenever it's always the thing of when you're trying to take things out of human reference to show that they're things that will rot and destroy the minds of lesser men. You then try it. Then it's like, okay, what's going to destroy the mind of a lesser man? Then you have to do it in detail.
Yeah,
and it almost always loses something. It's like doing cinematic adaptations of Lovecraft.
Yeah, the two best versions of that are, of course, In the Mouth of Madness and Event Horizon, both of which just give you glimpses. They never go full in to fully.
I quite like the H.P. Lovecraft Literary Society's Silent Call of Cthulhu from 2005.
That's a fair point. That and Dweller in the Darkness. Whatever the second one they did was. Both of them are solid experiences.
Yeah.
Recommend watching them. Especially because Cthulhu was stop motion, and that's always going to make me happy.
Yeah, but it's like the thing of like when... Like, I haven't seen it, but when they adapted the colour out of space, it's an unnatural colour. Yeah. By very definition, you cannot create an unnatural colour.
Yes.
Just like, it's just whatever. You're like, yeah, you can't actually do it.
Which is a shame because the Nick Cage Colour Out of Space is probably one of my all-time favourite Nick Cage films. There's sequences in that film which are fucking terrifying.
Yeah, but by its core premise, the taint of it, which is not a natural cause, you can't do it.
No, you can't. You can play around with it. So what they did with that is they made the Colour Out of Space to be neon purple, which it's the best you're going to be able to do because, as you say, you can't physically do anything else with it.
Yeah, it's one of these things when you're doing this sort of something out with the frame of reference of man, your best to do. Trying to go abstract. It's like when Morrison did Zenith, and you had the Loigor, which were basically Lovecraftian demons. If you look at what it was just fragments of teeth, bits of eyes, stretched flesh, but not a huge amount of things.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to see in book 4 what was left behind of the world after being changed by them. So you kind of see things like the people with hands over their eyes, as in there's hands growing out of their face to cover where their eyes would be. But you're not seeing the Loigor as in all their full pomp. Because it's like, no, they're something beyond our understanding.
It's been a long time since I read Zenith. I have to go back to that this week.
Have the limited edition hardcover when they said they would never print it again, and then they managed to somehow work out with Grant and reprint it. And I have the original Titan ones for phase 1 to 3.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, I got the hardback many years ago, and beautiful book, really good. It's one of those ones where, I forgot Grant Morrison's actually really good at what he does. That and his DC JLA run used to kind of remind it. Grant Morrison's excellent.
Yep. And of course, Superman.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. And
We 3.
We 3 is really good. We 3 is absolutely brilliant. Because my favourite thing about Grant Morrison is always going to be the magical war he's had with Alan Moore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into any context of that. If you want to know about the magical war being waged between Alan Moore and Grant Morrison, go read it up. It is, it's an experience. It's absolutely incredible.
But at the same time, 2 idiots who should know better.
Yeah.
Knock it the fuck off the pair of you.
Yeah. I think that's it. Those two with that, it feels like when Uri Geller was on Most Haunted, and him and Derek Acora kept goading each other into further flights of fancy until Derek Acora says that there were mole men living underneath London, and both of them realise they've gone too far and have to backtrack very quickly.
Yes.
Speaking of mole men,
yes, because which ties in nicely is they kind of realise we're there's too many of them. We've barely bested 5. There's now 100 more, and it's like And Defay goes, you're right, but he's like, the room itself holds the key. I feel it was cunningly crafted to do more than just hide the nest of chaos. I think it was meant to protect him too. Gravier, my master, your cannon, give it to me. So he knocks the bolt cannon off him and batters, basically peppers the wall with holes, and light comes in, and they all start to die and melt.
Yep, they all vampire away. Which is funny because some of them do look a little bit like the infected from the Will Smith I Am Legend. Yeah. I'm sorry for reminding you that film existed.
Like we've adapted I Am Legend 3 times, and each one gets successively poorer. Don't do it a 4th time, or I'll come round to your house and knock your teeth in.
It just come to something when the Last Man on Earth starring Vincent Price is the closest it's got.
I mean, I will say I don't hate the Omega Man. I love it.
No, great film for what it is.
And when he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I love The Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, it's Vincent Price slowly going mental by himself. It's great.
Yeah.
Nobody has that kind of... nobody has ever been able to out Vincent Price. The man was amazing.
Yep. So you see
now I want the Inquisitor to have Vincent Price's voice. Oh, that would be awesome. Oh. Anyhow.
Yeah, so then see that the Lady Cora for the family is like, my brethren, oh my poor brethren, you've killed them all. No shit.
Burn this room and all you'll find in it. Expose it to harsh light. Burn this palace. Take her away. Inquisitoring as hard as he can Inquisitor.
No, he could Inquisit harder because he didn't order everyone killed.
True. But he also didn't say make sure everybody gets out of the palace before you burn it.
It's true. We're in the grey area of how inquisitive am I going to be?
I do love the picture at the bottom of the page where the Cardinal's apologising. I had no idea that the taint of chaos ran so deep on this world. I thought the incident in the city was an aberration. I was wrong. Indeed you were, Cardinal. It seems to me that the entire noble family of Methildus is corrupted by that which we hate. Who knows how far or how deep this poison goes? The Lady Cora had clearly sheltered these malformed members of her family for years. The family is covering up an obscene threat to the welfare of the of the Imperium. We have a great deal of work to do on this planet, and I trust you will assist us at every step. And that turnaround that he's got with the hand out. Oh! Andy, I love this strip. I love it.
I've always been a big fan of Simon Colby, as I said last issue, from my early exposure to him on Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Right the way through. So yeah, it's great. Again, it's the case of the Cardinal is back to kind of being. You can see it as he's now deferring to Defay.
Yeah.
But it's also like the body language again is back to being this sort of slightly more languid character.
I love the Cardinal. I did not expect to come out of this loving the Cardinal.
I kind of thought he was going to be dead at the end of this one.
Same.
He had, we're gonna find you've enabled this, and he's gonna put a bolt through the top of your head.
Well, I thought it was going to be more like he's just going to wander in, going, "Oh, my brethren, how are you all doing?" and then just have his head eaten or something. But no, he ends up just being badass and awesome. He's great. This comic is great.
Yeah, fantastic. As we've said through it, the choices that get made in terms of you get enough monsters to show that they're misshapen and what have you, but the real horrific stuff, you're just glimpses, fragments itself. Fill it in with your own brain, which is always it's kind of the old the Val Lewton approach from cinema. Is like, we'll not actually show you the thing, which doesn't always work, and I think you should always show enough to give the reader or the viewer a flavour of it. You can't just have everything off screen, which is where I always thought Lewton falls down in some instances. Like,
I mean, there's the entire rubber lobster being held up to the camera really close so you can't see what it is, which is an old favourite trick of the 50s and 60s, well, 40s and 50s, I should say, and that works to a point, but you need to have an idea of what it is you're trying to show people, so you can only show them parts.
Yeah.
This does this beautifully. The scene when they're all starting to melt in the sunlight, you get to see these very monstrous parts. You don't see what they're connected to. You get the giant crab claw in the background. You get like shadows of things and odd shapes, and like you see bits of tentacles, but the ones at the foreground are the most human looking. So you've got a gradual journey for your eye to take, which shows you here's the less mutated, and it gets worse the further back you go. It's smart as hell.
Yeah. Again, how much of that's in the script as to how much is that finding Colby getting free reign? It's not entirely clear, but it's very effective. It's one of these things that for horror in comics is more difficult to do than people appreciate, because Adam and I are both huge horror fans in terms of films.
Yes.
But as you forget, the biggest arsenal for horror films is the score, rather than anything else. Because I pick your favorite horror film, watch it on mute. There's so much gone.
Yeah.
100%.
That
atmosphere that you can set just through the musical cues and the soundscape. So you're in comics, so what you got is basically you're effectively left with the staging of the staging of the shots, the actual shots themselves, and text. And there is the way where you can do the laborious caption boxes and narration, and which it can work in some instances depending on the type of horror you're going for and the skill of the writer, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But when you're doing horror stuff in comics, it can often be a bit tame is probably the best word to do it, because it's like
it can be very flat. It can be very thin, because unless you have an artist who can create a depth of atmosphere within the pages, because the conversation is always raged on, a comic has to be able to tell its story without the words. The words are there to draw things along, to push things forward, but the art itself has to tell a story. And what you get in a lot of cases is grotesquerie or a reliance on shadow light. You don't get a lot of atmosphere. Bernie Wrightson was a master of being able to get horror onto the printed page. Very few people have been able to do it to that kind of level, and he had a very distinct understanding on how the eye interprets imagery, and he managed to get that stuff across, and it is beautiful. Go read Bernie Wrightson stuff. Just look at it.
Yes. No, I wholeheartedly second that.
And this does a great job. This does an absolutely brilliant job of getting the horror of the monstrosities across without ruining them. It's the problem with sequelitis. Pinhead and the Hellraisers in the first Hellraiser film are truly terrifying because they are used so sparingly. By the time you get to Hellraiser Takes LA, they're basically supervillains. They're cackling supervillains. They're not scary anymore. Yeah. Freddy Krueger is another one. Once these guys get used up too much, you lose the monster, and it takes a lot to be able to refang the beast. And that's what these, especially here and in horror comics, the successful horror comics over the years, is that they understand that you have to be sparing. You have to just give enough for your brain to fill in the blanks, and it's a hard thing to do. Yeah,
because I know a lot of comics advise this show don't tell, but you in this instance you need to control what you're showing, and this is one where it's artistic restraint, because it'd be just so easy for them to do big tentacled monstery things, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, but it would not be as satisfying a read, because you're not engaging with it as fully as you are, because you're like, oh shit, you're as we say, you're picking out, oh, there's a claw there, that, what could that be? So you're speculating on it, so you're engaging with it a slightly different way, as opposed to being if you're getting everything, it's a much more passive experience, whereas like that, you're engaged, a bit more active. And again, it's to go back as well, this isn't really a horror strip, it's action adventure.
No.
It's taking the Aliens approach, which is kind of your cinematic touchstone for most in terms of, because that's your classic horror to action from aliens, and manages to make the aliens still scary in that setting.
Absolutely, and a lot of the time it goes out of its way to give you glimpses of the aliens en masse. Yeah, it's not until Alien Resurrection that you start getting full bloody body shots of the things. But you should never get full bloody body shots of the aliens. Never.
Oh, there's a lot of missteps in Alien Resurrection.
I will say I love Alien Resurrection. It's not a good film.
It is not a good film.
Still love it a bit, though. Oh dear. But all in all, yeah, Inquisitor is fast becoming my favourite strip the Warhammer Monthly's presented. I love it. I genuinely adore it. I think it is top notch. Everything here works for me. The art is absolutely beyond reproach. The script writing is really, really good. I love the characterization the characters have got. The fact that the Cardinal has surprised me with how his character's evolved that little bit in the space of 2 parts is brilliant.
Yeah, there's something said to subverting expectation that ties to what we said last week. Is what did we want at the end of the previous issue? We wanted him dead.
Yeah,
we wanted him horrifically killed. That's what you're hoping for. In this one, no, you're not getting that, because it's not about giving reader what they want. It's giving the reader. Almer says it's not about giving them that, because it's the most rote storytelling you'll get. It's give them what they actually need.
Yeah.
And you want an engaging story because to be fair, the actual story itself is fairly straight line in terms of, it's a big chaos mystery, so you're kind of like, what's the flavour that's going to keep people come back? Oh, that's a bit more of this character than I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Where's this going to go? You still have your mystery of kind of, this family's been tied into this planet for obviously centuries, possibly millennia. So there's a big sprawling mystery to go along with it. But I'm more interested to see more of the Cardinal rather than because the chaos. Because for anyone who's remotely familiar with 40k, it's like, it's a chaos cult or family's been infected. How far does it go? Probably centuries. What are we going to do? Burn them all?
Yep. You know where the story's going to go.
The broad strokes in terms of how's it going to end. Inquisitor's going to kill a lot of people.
Yes.
Possibly an entire planet. That is not off the cards yet.
No, it isn't. And I'm fascinated to see where we get to with it, because honestly, right now, I'm hoping that Inquisitor keeps coming back. More so than I think any other story that we've had. I want Inquisitor to do the long run.
I will say to that depends on how this book ends.
Yes.
On that. Because we talked about Darkblade being 1 note.
Yes.
This could also be potentially 1 note. Because I'm an Inquisitor, I'm coming to a planet, what am I going to do? I don't care, but I'm going to burn most of it and kill a lot of people, then I'm going to leave. That's the Inquisitor story.
Yeah.
You can call it, doesn't matter what name you give the Inquisitor, that's their story.
I have a feeling that however this ends, it's going to be Gravier leaving by himself. I've just got, when you just have that little inkling of a feeling that this is the story right now is the story of Defay and uncovering the Chaos Taint. But I wonder how much of that is going to be the story ends. But we'll find out as we go along, because honestly, right now, I'm all in. I am all in. So, next up, dedication.
That's what you need if you want to be a record breaker.
You've been sitting on that all week, haven't you?
No, just came to me there.
So, once again, script by Dan Abnett, art by Mike Perkins, and letters by Gordon Robson. Mike Perkins isn't a name I recognise.
He is. I'm more familiar with his Marvel US stuff. He's done a lot on Captain America, DC stuff. As you'll see, a very, very skilled illustrator. Very rich detail in his work. I think he did the really good Batman that Dan Jurgens did, where it was the period piece where Batman set in the 30s. The ideal Batman book that I've been banging on about for goddamn 20 odd years. Is I love comics. I love Batman because anyone who says they don't like Batman's like you do. You just haven't, because Batman's like the Swiss Army knife character. You can chuck him into any type of story.
Yes.
So there will be a Batman story that everybody loves. Everyone will have a Batman story they enjoy. He's one of these characters because he's just so flexible. But in the ever evolving sort of, as comics have kind of, the audience has grown, and the way they've grown for their audience of teenagers to 20-somethings to 30-somethings, like, Batman does not make any sense past the mid-90s. The minute DNA testing happens, Batman's broken. Same with surveillance technology. Why? Because there's enough blood left over. Oh, that's Bruce Wayne. Batman... Yeah. I genuinely think Batman makes so much sense as a period piece in the 30s to the 50s.
I agree. It's one of the things about the... was it Beware the Batman? The last animated series? Called Beware the Batman? I can't remember. But that was... Whilst there were things in there I wasn't a huge fan of, as a idea, taking him back to the 1940s was a major step forward for the character, because it allowed him to be Batman.
Yeah.
One of the issues I have with Batman as it stands now is that the Batman that... I was going to say the Batman who cares, and I realise that feels like I'm making a riff on the Batman who laughed, and I'm not. It was a fun idea for a single issue. Stop doing the Batman who whatevers.
Yeah. No argument here. No, I get what you mean. Is that there's an empathy to the character that people forget about.
Yes, yeah, and as time's gone along, because I mean, Batman's a constantly evolving character. He has the Batman who existed in the 80s is not the Batman who existed in the 70s. Is not the Batman who existed in the 60s. It's not the Batman who existed in the 90s. It's not the Batman who exists now. The character constantly evolves. He changes to adapt to the world around him, and it's always a thing.
But the whole implication is that I think there's a few writers have got it up is he doesn't put on the suit to avenge the death of his parents. The suit gets put on so there isn't another child who has to mourn the loss of their parents.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the central, and it's too many writers missed that bit. And I thought,
what you get is this current Batman who is a very cold, difficult person to be. Yeah, and I've always had a thought. The idea of Batman, I didn't expect to get into a full conversation about Batman today. The entire idea of Batman's the person, Bruce Wayne is the mask, never sits right for me, because it's not true. They are the same thing. They're two sides of the same person. The Batman is where that rage goes. Bruce Wayne is the person. You know, if Bruce Wayne was completely the mask, he wouldn't be able to survive in society and keep up the pretense. It wouldn't work.
It's the fundamental. It's again just trying to write older and do it. It's like, yeah, because Grant Morrison goes, it's like, we don't need. It's like adults need to know how Batman gets replacement bits for his Batmobile, and how to get his tires for it and all that. Kids don't. They understand how it works.
Yeah,
like it's putting weight on a concept that isn't built to hold it.
No, it's not. Batman is not a weight-bearing concept.
None of them are. The superheroes are, again, you're putting in to satisfy your need. I don't need to know, like, oh, how does Batman fund all this? I don't care. It's Batman.
Yeah, completely. Hey, he's got Harold. What does Harold do? Harold goes around fixing the Batmobile. Excellent stuff.
He doesn't have Harold anymore.
No, Harold's dead now.
Harold's been dead for nearly 20 years, Adam. Come on.
I know, but as far as I'm concerned,
why are you bringing it? Because Hush 2's back.
Shut up. I don't want to. I don't want to Hush 2.
It's out. You can't.
I didn't want to Hush 1.
I didn't mind Hush 1 because it was just great hits, but yes. Anyway, let's move on before. So,
yeah.
Mike Perkins is a very good. I mean, as you can see, when you're reading Dedication, the quality of the art is fantastic.
Oh, it is superb. You know, it reminds me a lot of like a good Captain America, if that makes sense. not as much the style of what we're getting across, but the way that things are framed, the way that the movement happens in the bodies, and it just
has done quite a bit on Captain America. So
maybe that's where the connection's happening in my brain then. Also, He looks a little bit like Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Story-wise, it's a very simple one. It's
a lone night chapel.
Yep, he's just at night at a chapel, asking for blessings, making prayers, and then blessing his armor and getting himself all set up to go out and fight. That's the story. That's all it is. But lovely.
Not going out to fight, going out to his death.
Yes, that's a fair point, actually. That's a fair distinction to make.
As it goes on, he gives you little bits about what's been going on. The war's been going on for 6 weeks. And it must be the last day. He'll not be rushed. The enemy will wait. And that's kind of what he's saying, is he precisely and devoutly prepares for combat, does all the bits of ritual that go into it, walks out. And then as he's going out the last page, he goes, he's alone. He's the last man.
Yep.
And evil may not set foot on the sacred ground of the Aphronard's holy chapel. Evil must wait until that which is virtuous steps out to meet it. It's dawn and Borlois goes to war.
The doors fling open and he just charges this Chaos Horde.
Yeah.
Now, there's a real interesting question I want to bring up here. One of the things that you spoke about last issue was you were getting tired of the humorous sting in the tail stories that we were getting in these Warhammer Fantasy one-shots. This isn't that. This is a one-shot that it still has a sting in the tail. There's no humor in it. It is bleak. It is dark, and it is very sad in a lot of ways, but also hopeful, because the guy makes these decisions. This is his decision to go off to do, because he feels that this is the right thing to do. It's solid. So where are you sitting at the moment with the idea of these Warhammer Fantasy one-shots?
I like this one, but the sting in the tail wasn't the sting, because you knew right from the get-go he's the only one. It's the whole point. They make a point of it. He's going out to fight, and it's like, yeah, you're not going out for a duel, because they would have made more of a song and dance about that. You kind of, although he wasn't explicitly not saying it wasn't single combat, the way it was approached, like, yeah, you are. There's a weight building up to it, so you knew when you're going out, it's like, no, he's going out to face a big fucking horde. He's going to die. Yeah. It does have, because it has the melancholy feel of, no, you are preparing for your own death, which is why you're taking as much time as possible.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of delaying there. It's kind of one of these things of, if you're going just to sacrifice for it, you just run out for the fight. You just go and get on with this. And someone's like, no, I know this is my last day. I'm preparing in the proper way and go out as befitting one of my station, my rank, my discipline, what have you. That is very much it's a getting my affairs in order type thing. It has that feel. So I really like this one.
Yeah, there's a real sense of like a stage play taking place here, which I'm all about.
Again, it was just a one-hander. So effectively, you're just getting an extended monologue. You're getting a flavour for events that have gone through. He acknowledges, obviously, there's knights that have already fallen, so you're like, there you go. But it's tellingly that he's in that chapel and there is nobody there.
Yeah.
As in, there's no cleric.
Yeah.
It's like, you are to go back to the price, this is the last man on earth. So you're the last guy.
I am not going to try and do a Vincent Price impression to read these out, because it would not go well.
No, it would not. But again, you can see that it is, because if he knew he had any chance of victory, he would just go and the fight would happen.
Yeah.
Like I say, this is I know what's coming. I'm preparing I'm centering myself. It's the 7 stages of grief. This is acceptance.
Yes.
And I'm off out the door, rushing headlong into it, purely because obviously you can read into that as like, well, I'll take as many with me. / I want to try and get to the guy that's caused it all. And
it was really unsettling. Ugh, that armor is like nasty.
Yeah, and because it's chaos, you know you couldn't chart. And although it's not explicitly said it's chaos, you can kind of get the feel for just the way the banners are, the art is, and again at that point, you can challenge him to single duel, but he's not going to be honourable. So he's like, nope, I will just go out.
Yeah, I love the change in the posture from him walking out to when the doors are opened and he's charging full rent into the army. It is genuinely so good. Changes the entire atmosphere and the mood of the piece. It's hats off, absolutely hats off. I'm just looking back through the pages and just drinking in the detail. It is truly gorgeous.
Again, I've talked about this at length over several episodes now. It's about detail versus clutter.
Yeah.
This is detail, this is not clutter.
No, the story gets told. You can easily see every part of the story. It's not... Your eye sits where it needs to sit. You can see everything. You can go through everything. It is absolutely stunning work.
Yeah.
And the design of the armor is mwah.
Well, again, I'm assuming there's a little bit of research done into that because it does look medieval/Middle Ages accurate. But this is also, as an artist, there are ways you can fudge and you can cheat with perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Not in panel 1, he didn't. This was done properly. There's no fudge here.
No, every single brick. It's just look at that ceiling.
Yep, that's where you know where the work's gone in.
Yeah. But it's not just that. Now this is dawn and what must be the last day. That panel where he's there with his eyes closed and the sword up. I mean, on one hand, all I can really hear in my head is blade with whom I have lived, blade with whom I now die. But Fight of Dragons is never far from my brain at any given point. But the sheer...
I was just about to live it up and go, sort of omens give me sight beyond sight. And you want a less... you want a more basic reference.
But yeah, the atmosphere, the emotion of the story comes across in this one panel. It is freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
Just, I'm trying my best not to just sit here and say this is absolutely beautiful, and I love every second of it. Yeah, that's my overall thoughts.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. It's brilliant. Doesn't overstay its welcome. You don't need any more than this. I don't need to know his fate. And again, it's the what happens. Do reinforcements arrive and suddenly he's saved? Who cares? The important part isn't the end of the journey, it's the journey itself.
Yeah, 100%. It's... Yeah. 100... Just absolutely... Round of applause. Did its thing, in and out. And now we have some more dynamics.
Well, we're going to come to this in a minute because we just have to remember that. So we're 2 Dan Abnets in.
Mm-hmm.
2 bangers. We've got a threat from page 2 of a substandard Dan Abnett coming back to us with Darkblade. And again, that thing is like, well, this is as we said, not every creator's going to hit a home run every time. Again, this is opinion. There are people who wrote in and clearly enjoyed Darkblade. We were not one of them.
No.
Yes, we're about to come on to another. And again, why are you having the 2 one-offs who set around fantasy right one after the other?
I don't know, because it creates this weird bookmark of...
Now, there's probably some pages in between, because obviously, again, we are reading the PDF and all that. However, this is not one... I would have horsed this to the end of the book, or put some other stuff in the middle. That's
100%, because you come off... The problem here is you come off this last page for dedication, which is this really gloriously rendered piece, and it makes the next page seem really flat in a weird way. It's nothing to do with the art or anything like that. It's the juxtaposition between this page to the next page. Now, as you say, there might have been a page in between them that we're not getting in the scans, and that is one of those things, unfortunately, that trying to buy issues of Warhammer Monthly off eBay is not going to happen. They're just too expensive to try and set up. So it's something we kind of have to deal with, but it really just causes a very weird experience in my brain going from one to the next.
Yeah, so we have Dreams of Lustria by Dan Abnett with David Pugh on art and letters again.
Mm-hmm.
Taking work away from Gordon Robson. Damn you, David Pugh.
Out of interest, do you remember a very famous little run called Flesh? Do you remember Flesh with all the dinosaurs?
Yes, which one? Because there's the classic.
Mm-hmm.
There's when Mills brings it back around Prague, between 700 and 800, I think. And then much later on with the cowboys and what have you.
I'm thinking it's probably the first run that I think I'm thinking of here.
Oh, the classic one, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wanting to point that out, just because when the dinosaurs start turning up later on, there's
spoilers.
there's just something going on there that makes me think, I'm sure I've seen those dinosaurs before. Maybe not exactly, but I'm sure I've seen them. But anyhow.
So, what we're being told is that Defay was a quiet town in the Trentine Hills, remarked upon for its quality stoneworking. It's a peaceful place. All except the Villa Badolphus.
No, the dream again. The dream. Well, what's happening here? Obviously, in between filming episodes of StarQuest DSP, you are having what is known as puberty, and those dreams are purely natural. You know, my little friend. So just run with it, and you'll be okay.
Young Prince Frenzo.
Also to be seen on SeaQuest DSP.
Yeah. He's a well-liked scholar, and he's a student of the cosmos who's struggling to comprehend the workings of heaven and earth. And so he's probed the disciplines of magic, striving to understand the relationship to his beloved sciences.
And there's your first mistake.
Yeah. So he's looking at some big, massive tomes on his reading platform, which has a human skull.
Yep. Yep. Well, is it a human skull? Because the brow's really pronounced. It might just be the shadows, but I was thinking, is that an ape skull?
No, it's a human skull. Just the angle of it and the way the shadows come in. But apparently he's just been locking himself in his room, reading the monster.
That's why he's having weird dreams.
Yeah.
Go outside, touch grass.
But his mates come up and go, Frenzo, you're wasting away in here. Come out with us. Come hunting. He's like, I'm sorry, my friends, I have work to do. Now, when he says you're wasting away in here, is that a typo or you meant to say something else? All them dirty grimoires.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, the taint was used in the wrong story. This one should have been the taint of Lustria, because this boy's got this boy needs therapy.
So he's basically dreaming of jungles full of lizard creatures. Your T-Rex, your chap, your
the Dilophosaurus, and then something else.
It looks kind of Godzilla-y in the face.
So, what's happened when you get these dinosaurs up? You've got the Dilophosaur, which is a elongated version from the one from Jurassic Park, because the Dilophosaur didn't actually have frills. You've got the T-Rex from the 1958 film Dinosaurus, where a T-Rex fights a Diplodocus and then a giant forklift truck. And then you've got what is the creature from a couple of thousand fathoms. It's an odd hodgepodge of dinosaur designs.
Yeah.
And of course, he's there dreaming and sweating. So read into that what you will.
Yeah. And he's just basically seeing some kind of temples which kind of look very Incan/Mayan. As you would expect. And as he's watching it, he can see someone who's watching back with a big lizardy eye.
with his feral, cunning eye. It's a good line.
Yeah.
And then the dream climaxes with a Nya! I'm not letting this go, and neither is he. Frenzo becomes convinced that through his magic-tainted dreams, he is somehow communicating with the legendary realm of Lustria. Lustria.
Yeah. A land written of by Yin Tuan and Marco Colombo, but believed by most to be simply a myth.
Anybody who says that Warhammer wasn't built on satire needs to have their head shaken.
Yeah.
Marco Colombo.
Yeah.
God.
And he felt he was communing with a Lustrian soul, perhaps even a scientist of that alien community, a being who was looking outwards for contact, just as Frenzo looked in. So we get to our last page. And it's like a last one night a great storm came to Ducasio. Despite the thunder, Frenzo's screams were heard right across the town. His friends and concerned townfolk raced to his aid, but when they broke in, there was no sign of the young prince. There was, however, a strange repellent lizard thing. All who saw it took it as somber confirmation that Frenzo had dabbled too far. The mob beat the wretched thing to a pulp. Which is the best bit of the strip.
100%. Look at the poor little bugger.
And then no one ever saw Frenzo again. No one ever began to suspect that he and his counterpart had fallen so deeply into their dreams that they'd woken on the far side. And he's there being greeted by the big dinosaurs going, "No!"
Yeah, so skinks have beds. There's a thing I didn't realise.
Yeah.
With pillows and everything.
And also the same size as humans.
Yeah, which skinks are tiny, so
yeah.
There's a lot of questions here. I do love the little picture of the skink. He looks terrified, like, oh shit. His last moments of life are before being beaten by an angry mob.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, humans are not great. You're about to find that out quite quickly.
Yes. So what we've got here is Dan Abnett trying to connect into the sort of weird fiction of the 70s, where through dreams you connect with an alien intelligence and information starts moving back and forth, and it ends with a little turnaround, a little moment of oh no, it's all. It doesn't work for me at all. This one really did not work for me, and I think in a lot of ways it's because the ending it's just there. And there's no real build-up to it. It's just kind of a thing. Here is a collection of words and images, and I don't care about the character. I don't care about the stuff he goes through, and it just feels like a big load of nothing, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You've got with these tales, you either have to have a very good, engaging high concept or a character that grabs you to keep the reader engaged. Yeah. It does have a tendency to fall flat.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous. Steve Pugh's art's fantastic.
Best skink I've seen in years.
Sorry, David Pugh. I periodically will get those the wrong way round. The art's fantastic, but yeah, the story's absolutely nothing. Again,
yeah.
It's one of the things that the O. Henry Twilight Zone Future Shock, if you will, format. Not everyone's going to be a winner.
No, of course not.
And the problem is this falling on the heels of the previous story.
Yes.
Just makes it even worse. That's the thing is.
The juxtaposition between them is insane.
Which is, again, shades of what I talked about last episode when we were talking about all the chaos stories being just this one note type thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, stop doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a shame because I think in a lot of ways, if you had run this from the point of view of one of his friends, who is seeing his friend get devoured by his obsession and trying to get him out of it, trying to get him to do all the things, and then it ends with, there's a lizard man in his bed. it could have worked. It could have been something, because then you have a focal point. This doesn't have a focal point. It's just back and forwarding with an idea and circling around it, but never doing anything with it.
It's also the thing of, would this have been better as a slightly longer series when you're basically looking at the descent into it in terms of,
Yeah.
why are you studying it? Why do you need to understand magic? Because the issue is with that is that's applying kind of our position in that in the 21st century, it's like most people quite rightly go, magic's a lot of old bollocks.
Yeah. But in the Warhammer world, it's a
very much a real thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you probably find it coming from the other way around in terms of like, no, we know magic. The science is probably the more heretical thing.
Yeah, actually, yeah. There's a few places you could have taken it.
Yeah.
Now, it's a one and done, so often a one and done is going to be something that is, I need something for a page count. What can you create? And this is probably a half-baked idea that Abner's had on his to-do list for a while. But, I'll just pull that off every writer has a to-do list of concepts and ideas and things. That's, right, I'll just quickly hammer this into something because I don't think I'll ever do anything else with it, and out it goes. Because it's an anthology comic, this is what an anthology comic is going to do at times. We need to just quickly get something into the issue. And that, I say that knowing full well that the art, that Pugh's art, is something that would have taken a hell of a long time to do, because it is really intricate. There's a lot of stuff going on here, which I really don't want to undercut. It's just the fact that, once again, we have a script that is really lackluster, feels half-baked, hasn't cooked all the way through, and as a result, you end up with nothing.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, the art's fantastic, but there's nothing to it. But again, it's not awful.
No, it's just there. But it does have the skink, which is, honestly, that panel, I cracked like nothing else seeing that panel. This little skink hiding next to a bed moments before being beaten to death. I shouldn't laugh, but freaking hell, it got me. It got me good. And then we have a Simon Colby Inquisitor Defay poster.
Or actual pin-up or potential cover that didn't go ahead.
I'm going for the latter, yeah.
I always have so you didn't commission that.
The reason I think that is, if you remember the size of Warhammer Monthly and how the pages were put together, there is no way you are pin up in that.
Yes. Well, lovely enough illustration, but yeah.
Oh, damn, yeah, gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous piece of work. But it's not a pin-up. It's just a picture just to ramp up the page count, I think. No bad thing. It's one of those things. Shadowfast. We're back to Shadowfast.
Yeah. Michael Brown on script, Simon Harrison on art, and Gord Robson back once again resting the crown. So only one story in this issue he hasn't lettered so far.
I think Gordon Robson at this point was the go-to guy for lettering in Warhammer Monthly. I'm sure he's probably done more lettering than anyone else. I'll have to go back through and have a look.
But we now
Do you want to take the story for Shadowfast? Because I know how much you championed the bit for this one.
So it's a lovely, lovely almost silhouette of the castle with lots of white spatter on it to give you smoke and glare from the sun down. Oh, just really good. So it's the castle of the necromancer Drakash Boneseer high in the Vault Mountain. Shadowfast has been drawn to the dread place, seeking release from the spell which binds him to the staff he carries. And he's like, talking to the ghosts. He's like, "Wait, shades, by the staff, I command you to wait." And they're like, "Lord, we cannot, we're drawn to this place." So he immediately just goes, "Okay, alright, if you're going there, I'll go there as well."
Where you go, so do I.
Again, I like that he's been kind of very fluid. It's like, yeah, okay, if I can't stop you, why not? And more zombies kick about.
Yeah.
And he just does the thing of shades attack.
I choose you, poker ghost.
Yeah. And it's like, attack. Can I command this at least? And it's like, we can always kill. And he's like, fine. You kill them all while I go and take out the boy in charge. The one who's damned me to carry this damn staff. Well, damned me to carry the staff. And he just... So at that point...
This is where I get happy.
Yes, Adam gets happy because he's not the only one to get into the castle, and you have the Skaven with their warp fire blasters just burning everything.
Gates open! Kill, kill! Burn, burn! Burn, sash! All burns! Kill, kill in the name of Warlord Garas! Kill them all! There you go, that's the dialogue of the issue for me.
Yeah, and so you get a lovely battle scene of everyone fighting outside the castle. Meanwhile, inside, Zoltar is speaking to Spectra. That's a Battle of the Planets reference for those who don't know, because anytime I see a big ship, that's what I think of. Guy in a cape and a daft hat talking to a big face in the screen. It's clearly Zoltar and Spectre. So I want to know what the Luminous One is saying.
What is happening, Boneseer? It appears we are under attack, Master. The War Dancer must be able to control the shade somehow. The staff, you fool! He's using the staff. I can feel it.
The staff you gave to him, you absolute fanny.
You moron! Why would you give a War Dancer a giant piece of wood? Magical, no less. Dickhead.
So... The word Shadowfast is making his way up the stairs, and it's like the door is barred by foul sorcery. And then it's like behind the door, which is very, very ornate and very nice. There's like a couple of guys with big swords are just standing either side of it, completely nonplussed. Whereas the Bone Stealer is like, who? And it's like, it is him, the War Dancer. He has come to unite staff and orb. And then, of course, the second best bit of dialogue in the.
Kill flame, burn elf, scorch, yes.
And so the War Dancer looks and goes, warp fire, sweet Isha, protect me. And he legs it out of the way, and the warp fire takes care of the door.
Salute for thinking on your feet. That's that's good stuff.
He gets in, and obviously the Bones here is like, sees the War Dancer, and the two big guys suddenly move to life.
Yeah, so creepy.
Yeah, because at the start they look quite massive and quite sort of imposing guards, but you can then kind of see like the size and weight of the blades that they're carrying.
It's dragging them down.
Yeah. And obviously with his sword and staff and his agility, he's actually making quite easy work of them.
Yeah. I mean, they're dead, they're in heavy armor, he's a War Dancer. It was only going to go one way.
And at that point, he's like, say the words, release me from the infernal staff, as he has the staff up against the throat of the Bones. The Bone Seer's like, I cannot. And then Spectra tells him, kill them if you must. He is nothing. I am the one who bound you to the staff. It's like, you, from my death dream, you saved me when Rack sought to steal my life. Did I? Ah, yes.
I love a non-committal evil guy.
Just like,
I've got so many things I'm doing at the moment.
The multitasking is not my strong point. It's like, yes. He's like, yes, and in doing so, you bound me to this wretched staff. And it's like, yes, War Dancer, you're nothing but a pawn in the plans of Nagaroth. It's like, another scheming dark elf. Ah, that's right, you begin to see. We're about to get some planage. Now step closer, War Dancer. That's it. Close enough to form a link with the orb to drag you and the staff through to my hated prison in the land of the dead. Now, the art here is fantastic just because it's mostly black for that, but and paint splatters. The technique he uses is amazing.
Yeah.
And he's then like, I'd sooner destroy it than take it to the blighted isle. And suddenly the Bone Seer springs to life. No, the staff is mine, and has a wee shank, and he's gonna stab him. At which point it's like, there's no point in fighting it, Wood Elf scum. Kill the pathetic old man and step through the vortex.
Never. I've come this far. This pathetic old man will lift the curse. I cannot. Give it to me.
And then more Skaven appear. Don't know why.
Man witch burn, yes.
Don't know why they were standing behind the door the entire time, considering they just burned a hole in it.
They probably blew themselves up. Man witch. I love the term man witch.
Yeah.
Oh, you make me so happy, Skaven.
Yep. It's like, make your choice, Shadowfast. If you burn and die, you'll join me on the Blighted Isles soon enough. At that point, it's like, it's very late. Very well, it's too late for choices. I need a shield. And does the honourable thing. And yeets the... yeets the bones in the direction of the Skaven.
Just throws the pathetic old man right into the fire. It is... But from the looks of it, he's jumping off his back as well.
It's like, yep, I'm using you to gain leverage and purchase. Burn old man. And then he jumps through the orb.
Elf dead kill. Gone, yes.
And the Eye of Thundera has fallen silent.
See, I was thinking of the Eye of Grayskull from the Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe movie. The Eye of Eternia.
And so then we see the War Dancer he's in the Blighted Isle, and it's like, at last, it's taken me months to get the staff to this accursed place. Not centuries.
Yes.
That's very low stakes. I was like, I mean, many millennia have I sought this. It's like, it's taken me months. I don't quicker get Amazon to deliver the fucking thing.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? You don't expect months in this kind of story. You expect it to be decades, years, centuries.
And he's like, I don't know who you really are or what foul schemes you hatch, but by Kurnos, I swear that you'll die for dragging me here too. And you're then seeing some kind of strange dark elf war host with ghosts at the back of it.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was funny that we find out he's a dark elf, because I was convinced he was a vampire.
It was the collars, wasn't it?
Yep.
No,
100%.
I don't think he was a vampire. I wasn't clear who he actually was, because it wasn't really important at that point. So you're like, okay, so it's elvish magic that's got him there, which will probably explain why he was able to wield the staff and command them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And probably explains why it's the elvish soul. He still has the elvish souls fighting alongside him, but he doesn't have any of the chaos ones that he's done in.
Ah, yes, that's a good point.
Yeah. So I'm assuming once he's killed them, he was able to use them, but they're not able to stay or what have you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a very good point, and one I'd missed out actually. It's good, isn't it?
And to be concluded. So, as I said from episode 1, the art is this is the best drawn strip they've got. I know I don't say Inquisitor. He is wrong. It is up there, but this is it. This is absolutely 100%. I could drink this in all day.
I think the question to which is the best drawn strip, the answer is probably going to be whichever one I read last, because the two very different styles, the two very different things going on, but equally, I love both of them. Yeah, the grotesquerie of Shadowfast it's something you need to see to be believed. I love his Skaven. They're so stinky.
And like I say, I like the fact his elves look recognizably elvish. They feel elvish, but they also don't feel like they stepped out of Lord of the Rings either.
No, they don't. They're a different species. Absolutely bang on.
Just the use of black and white art. He is just chef's kiss. It's beautiful.
It's funny. I keep being reminded of when I was when I first got Warhammer Monthly way back when, and I could not get on with it. I really could not get on with the Shadowfast art style. And it is one of those things that as you get older, you learn more and you appreciate different things. Because I mean, at the time, I was a big fan of Todd McFarlane's work on Spawn, which, as I say, you learn as you get older. And there's so much here which I find is just beautiful to drink in. Just
Yeah, as I say,
absolutely stunning work.
art tastes always evolve as you go. I mean, there's certain things that you always go back to because you caught them at the age. Look, let's say there's some Rob Liefeld stuff I will always enjoy because of the age I got it, and I can feel the energy in it. Is it objectively as good as other stuff? No. Again, that's what it is. But your taste should evolve because you're exposed to new things. You get an appreciation of it. I say, not everyone goes in knowing that the greats are the greats right off the bat. You see their influences, then go back. Like, I didn't take to Jack Kirby early. It took me a while. Like, Steve Ditko was much quicker to get with. Mick McMahon, who I've talked about previously in these podcasts, I picked up on him at the style when he came back to 2018, the early to mid, that everybody fucking hated. And that's when Mick McMahon clicked for me. And then I started to appreciate the stuff that was there before. I was like, oh, now I get it. But
I truly find it bizarre that people didn't like what McMahon did later on. I love it. Absolutely adore it.
I think it's because people, like, artists will always grow and evolve and develop, and it's a kind of, it's you will always, and they'll develop in different ways, and it won't always be to people's tastes. That's the thing. Is the slightly, I say slightly, the absolutely questionable Howard Chaykin talks about it, is the amount of people that talk about, that go up to him and just say, I love your Star Wars work from the 70s. It's like, that's 30, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've got there. But that's your favourite. That's what connected with you.
Yeah, of course. It's like Richard Elson. I will always down the hill that Richard Elson's Sonic the Comics work is beyond reproach. I've never really got on with anything else. Yeah. It's just personal opinion. Once he starts drawing people, I'm not. It just doesn't click with me. That's not to say it's bad, because it's not. His Spider-Man stuff was glorious to look at, but it doesn't work for me. It's not right. Yeah.
Again, art is always subjective.
Of course.
But no, I've enjoyed Shadowfast, and we get the to be concluded, which we kind of basically we thought it was only going to be another couple of parts at best. So we'll get the wrap up to it, and I say I cannot remember if there's a second book. If I'm being honest,
me neither.
If I'm being honest, is there anything of this character that I want to see his continuing adventures? No.
No, he could do with ending here, and all would be well.
Yeah, I absolutely want more Simon Harrison work in the book, but
yes,
again, Shadowfast is not any more engaging a character than Darkblade. Just the story's been better.
Yeah, there's been more layers to it. There's been an ongoing narrative rather than just slices of life in today in the life of Darkblade.
Yeah, step one, quest one,
threads.
quest two.
Yeah, there's been threads that have connected from installment to installment. So yeah, it works a lot better. It's interesting actually because it means the next issue we're going to have Shadowfast ending and Darkblade beginning again. We're going to have like an elf handover.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting one.
Yes.
Right, should we get into Ravenwing?
Yes, so we're on to the second half. We're on the planet Bob. Or Boab. It'll probably be Boab, but we're calling it Bob for this.
It is. It's Bob. Yep, Bob and Taint.
And deep within the Segmentum Obscurus, a desperate race is being run. And we're tight up on the Ravenwing Sergeant. It's like, stats report Gamaliel. And you're now getting your recap of previous issue.
Yep, where they blew the Titan with science.
Yeah. And then he's like, we've got everything done, but they're on our trail. But we're Space Marines. Surely we should turn and fight before they overwhelm us. And he's like, we're the Ravenwing. We pick the time and place of our battles, with victory our sole objective. For now, against this mob on this snowy plain, we face a fight we couldn't hope to win. And then he recaps of, I've got a wager with a colonel that we'll be victorious against the Orcs this day and intend to collect on it. We'll not stand and fight just yet. And then he asks Ignatius Carmelian, how are things in the rear? Which is a bit personal if you ask me. I'm sorry, I will not leave a bit of innuendo uninnuendoed. You can't.
No.
That's low-hanging fruit. That was an open goal. And then we get
Being good. I'm not making a joke on either of those two sentences.
Yep. So we cut to the other two who it's on the attack bike. And he's like, well enough, sir, despite Ignatius' sorry driving disrupting my aim, I've stopped a dozen of the foe so far. And he's doing away with, I assume, is a plasma cannon.
Yeah, that is a heavy plasma gun of some description.
And then we cut to the next page and we see all the orcs bearing down on them on various tracked vehicles and buggies and what have you. And they're doing orky things of shooting at them, loading missiles, shouting,
"More speed! Give me more speed!"
And
I don't know why, but the fact that there is a reflection of an orc eye in a piece of glass is just that gets me. I love that. It's such a little attention to detail. Perfect.
Yeah. So Carmelian's moaning that it still leaves only 1,000 or so in pursuit. So like, all right. And so the orcs are battering fire on them, and they hit the driver of the attack bike. So Ignatius is done,
leaving Carnelian by himself with his gun.
Yeah. And I say when he goes, Ignatius has been hit, which can only improve his driving. We're going for one more buggy. Remember us on the rock. Speed kills. It's like, you'll be remembered, Carnelian, and avenged. So
I don't know whether to bring this up now or to wait until the end. I might wait until the end.
It is lads action movie banter.
It really is. These aren't Space Marines.
This is the Expendables.
Yes, it really is. It's fucking Fast and Furious.
One of them's a way to hang a pirate. But they're going through the snow, and it's like, only death awaits us in the open plains, Ravenwing. Follow me to this gorge. It's here that we'll show how these orcs how a Dark Angel fights. And the orcs recognize it. Afterburner's on. Trap him in the canyon. Trap him and kill him. Sound plan? 10 on 10. No notes.
That's the most orcish plan that they'll ever orc.
Yeah. So it's like, Malachi's this wise. Our bikes have even less traction on the frozen river than they did on the snowy plain. How can we hope to maneuver in such conditions? Maneuver? You worry over much, Gamaliel. In fact, if I remember my Terran maps, Ravenwing. Stop. Stop! So they're basically at the edge of the river on a waterfall on the next page, and you see the land speeder just go, whee! It does look like it's crashing when we know it's not, because it's a land speeder, but it does look like, fuck. Can't stop.
I'm in the sky. I can't just stop.
Fuck that, boss.
Crash it.
And it's like, brother, we run no more this day. Dismount and prepare to face the foe. Dismount, but it's as you said, Gamaliel. We'll have little luck maneuvering our bikes on this icy surface, so we'll face the foe on our feet.
That doesn't seem a smart idea.
It's not. And again, while they worked with science before, I think science flies in the face of the plan that's coming up. And he says, without our bikes, the Ravenwing are still the Emperor's finest. Once the orcs draw near, we'll show them how the Emperor's finest fight. We'll not win the day with faster bikes, bigger guns, or more troops, but with courage, skill, and tactics. Now fire, but not at the orcs. Fire at the ice. So they unleash a stream of bolters to break up the ice, and the orcs basically start to crash and get submerged in. So, no, stop! It's all getting roads, boss! Keep shooting, lads! And basically they all drown.
Yes.
Now, it's nice that when they unleashed that array of projectiles, that none of the cracks or fissures worked their way back to them standing at the edge of the waterfall,
where there's weight.
Where I would actually argue is probably going to be slightly weaker, because there's less bloody water of that. I think you're all dead at this point. You're all ex-Raven. You have ceased to be. But
the weight of them standing on the ice means that when that starts to crack, the cracks are going to start moving towards them as well as away, because there's extra weight putting pressure down. So yes, they would also have drowned. Well, maybe not drowned.
Well, who knows? And that's the end of another orc mob. And he's like, and Gamaliel was like, To think I doubted your judgment, Sergeant Malachi. He's like, experience brings its own rewards, Gamaliel. My brother's Ephraim, I'll need your seat in the land speeder for an urgent appointment. And I was like, he just says, Gamaliel, in about 10 hours this ice should refreeze so you can ride out. Attend your bikes until then, they've served us well. Now to the Imperial Guard tent, and quickly, Lucius. I've got to Amordian Colonel by nightfall to collect my winnings, and I'd hate to disappoint him. The end.
Is it wrong of me to say good?
Yeah. The thing is,
It's a baffling strip.
It's an unenjoyable story until you start to go, that's not Ravenwing, it's not Ravenwing, it's not Marines. It's an enjoyable enough romp. The art is fantastic, very kinetic.
Yeah.
So on the cartoony side, as we said last issue.
Yeah, his orcs are incredible. Love his orcs.
But, yeah, that's...
This would have been served better if they hadn't been Marines, if they had been like a specialist specialist guardsman of some description. Because there are points where they do speak like Marines. You know, the you worry overmuch. You know, that long sentence that a Marine would use. That's on the money. But then you've got this weird banter going back and forward.
You do get that sometimes. I mean, God, you do get bits of it in the Horus Heresy and all books and all that, because you have there's enough of that we've seen, but it just doesn't in the context of this story, because it's been done on the let's say, I could probably let it go if that had been the only sort of bit, had just been the banter in between the Ravenwing when they're on their own, because that makes sense. Like, you can, like, you're amongst equals at that point, so there isn't. But all the interactions with the Imperial Guard in the last issue is like, no, it's not.
The idea that this lieutenant is, or is he a captain? Might be a captain. Is so, you know, thinking about this bet that he's made. It just doesn't feel Marini. It doesn't feel like the Adeptus Astartes in any way, shape, or form. It's weird. And the thing is, I wouldn't even say that it's any of it's bad, because it is perfectly surfaceable as a story. The art is top-notch, gorgeous. There's a lot of energy to it. It doesn't really stop at any point. It keeps its momentum going nicely. It's just a truly baffling experience, because one of the foundational points of the story that it's trying to tell doesn't fit. It makes everything feel weird. Yeah,
it's a fun enough story. It's solid. It's entertaining. The art's great, but just the bits that take you out of it, and that's.
I mean, I love the image of the burning bike, you know, but then you have speed kills as the Marine's last words. You just,
it doesn't very much feel like a Ravenwing / Dark Angel-y thing.
No. I mean, you can. I think if that wasn't there, you could probably read the Ignitus has been hit, which can only improve his driving. You can see that as the fatalist streak.
Yeah. And then it's for the remember us on the rock, for the lion, bang.
Yeah. That speed kills. It's just so weird. It's such a weird choice. This story's weird.
Yeah.
And it baffles me, because there is so much here I like.
Yeah.
But the stuff that is throwing me off is a genuine foundational problem. The story doesn't work because these aren't the characters that you're being shown. All in all, I'm just baffled by it. I'm absolutely baffled by Ravenwing. It's two parts of me scratching my head.
Yeah. Let's say I didn't hate it, but there's
no other word for it. It's just
it's a missed opportunity, I think.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. You could have had something here which was a really interesting, and it would be the first time as well that we get a chance to sort of see what it is to be a Dark Angel, to be a Ravenwing.
Yeah.
And these could have been anything. They could have been White Scars, they could have been Blood Angels, they could have been Ultramarines. You know, there's nothing here that makes them Ravenwing. There's nothing here that makes them Angel. There's very little here that makes them Space Marines in some ways. And it just ends up fighting itself because you've got so much good happening, but it's hitting this dam, this wall of... Foundationally, the characterization of the characters you have here is wrong. It isn't, and it's not, in my opinion, wrong. It's objectively incorrect. It's not how these characters work. It's not how the Space Marines... The people that we've been shown here are human. They are human. They are talking like humans. They are making bets like humans. They're making wisecracks like humans.
Yeah.
Space Marines aren't human. Blood Quest did it brilliantly. That real, not detached as such, but that other manner in which they project themselves came through in Blood Quest. Here, these are guys. These are rogue trader Space Marine. And maybe
that's probably right. Actually, yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. It does feel like, rogue trader era, pre-proper heresy stuff and all that.
Yeah. When 40k hadn't been fully fleshed out yet, Space Marines were bigger, they were stronger, they were faster, but they also had words like hate tattooed on their knuckles and would beat up people with sticks. I suppose reading it with that idea in mind, it would work, but in 1999, Third Ed's these are so far removed from what a Space Marine is. It detracts from the story, which is a shame because, as I say, the art is gorgeous. The image of the little orc looking through the war bookie tower with his little glasses on is top notch. It's everything with the orcs is great. I just think there should be an orc story. I think Jeff Rebner needs to be given a 6-part orc story, and I think he'd have a great time.
Yeah.
That's my final thoughts on the story.
No, it was fun, but just, didn't quite hit the landing, but I'd still say overall.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's worth reading.
It's not bad. It's the wee bits that just niggle you and take you out.
Yeah. I think that's what's winding me up about it, is that there's a lot here to like.
Yeah.
Because you've got this really fundamental issue with the way that the Space Marines act. It just a giant question mark over my head. So yeah, let me know, ladies and gentlemen, what you thought of this story, because honestly, I feel like a World of Warcraft quest giver, and I've just got a big question mark over my head flashing.
Yeah, it's just, we'll say, I'd love to see Jeff Rebner back do some other stuff.
Yes.
I wouldn't be averse to Bill Kaplan doing some other stuff, but maybe not Ravenwing.
Yeah. Honestly, give him some Imperial Guard stories to run with, because that would fly.
Yeah.
100% that would fly. I'd be all up for that. And the small amount of orc dialogue you get is good orc dialogue, so yeah.
The one thing is, I know someone asked about an orc story, but I actually think an orc story would be pretty... I think orcs lend themselves to one-offs because that dialogue would get very tedious very quickly.
Maybe.
I think it's one of these things that you would then have to do sort of translated from the Orkese or Orcish or whatever, and then have it in those tones. Because I think that the kind of 40k orc, basically lad/hooligan banter, only works in little bursts. I don't think it lends itself to...
There's two stories. Black Orc, I can't remember the orc's first name. And they are all from the point of view of the orcs. And very smartly, what they did was they juxtaposed it against the Admech.
Yeah.
So whilst the orcs are the protagonists of the story and the Admech are the antagonists, it moves back and forth between them. So you get the continuation and the push of the story from the Admech side of it, but you get all the orc stuff at the same time, and it's brilliant. Mostly because you get the orcs scaling and breaking into a Imperial Titan, finding the guy strapped in to the mainframe, and just looking at it going, humans are weird. Humans are just weird. Why would you do this? It's really funny stuff. So seeing the Imperium from the point of view of the orc, great. Without that juxtaposition, though, I've got a feeling that you might be right. It might end up being too riotous for its own good.
Yeah, just honestly, it's one of these things that certain things that ties back into what we're talking about with Cal Jericho. Like doing a big, long-running story with him doesn't feel like a good use of it. The little bump or what make it work. But I wouldn't be averse to kind of like a couple of orc one-offs, like an odd one or two-parter.
I hope that happens. I really do hope that happens. Just because orcs are great. They're great fun, and I'm always happy to see some orc stuff.
Yeah.
So, all in all, then, what are your feelings on issue 13? Because, genuinely,
Probably the issue today.
Yeah, I think we've hit our stride now, because that's exactly what we said about the last issue.
It's like, even the bum notes aren't necessarily bum notes as such. Like I say, we talked about Ravenwing having bits to just take out, but again, the story in itself was good.
Yeah.
Dreams of Lustria there was something there, but it suffered as much from just following right after the back of the excellent 4-pager by Abnett. So I mean, he's done like three out of the strips, and 2 of them are absolutely exceptional.
Yeah.
So 100%. I mean, one not so much. It's like, yeah, it's not a bad batting average, mate.
Yeah. And Dreams of Lustria, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It was just flat. You know, that's where it falls down. We have had worse. We have had much, much worse. We've had much, much worse by Dan Abnett. Yeah, just all in all, I think this is a really solid issue, and I'm pleased to see that Warhammer Monthly seems to be really finding its feet a bit more now. So that there was a point around about issue 8, I was starting to worry about how this was going to go.
Yes, it does. As you say, it does seem to have hit a stride now. The problem is we have the lingering spectre of next issue is we have Darkblade back, but we're probably going to get another installment of Dwarf Lords.
There's always chance for improvement.
I am very sorry to have pissed on your cornflakes.
But even if Dwarf Lords and Darkblade come back, we're seeing a higher caliber of stories taking place now. And I'm hoping that even if we don't constantly hit that high bar, there's always going to be at least one story that has that caliber.
Yeah. No, I've really... let's say, the strongest issue today, hands down. Let's say, I am slightly biased because, as I say, Shadowfast is my favourite thing in it because it's Simon Harrison art above all else. As I said, the story is earth-shatteringly brilliant, but it's enjoyable and it gets right a lot of what Darkblade didn't.
Yes.
The character itself falls into the thing that we have is that Cal Jericho aside, we've not really been presented with a really engaging character yet.
No.
Or any, and that's across all of the stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, so far, you got Jericho, and then you've got the Cardinal, and they might be the strongest 2 characters we've had so far.
Yeah. All 7 or 8 panels that the Cardinal's been in, but our lead characters are not...
They don't stand out.
They're not carrying the story by themselves.
No.
And to me, that's actually a little bit of a worry. If you're looking at it as like... Because you can only... Once you burn through story types, it's like, yeah, you're just doing the same type of story with a different character.
Yeah. And I think one of the big issues I've kind of been concerned about and thinking about recently is 40k, especially at this point in 1999, it is broad stroke storytelling.
Yeah.
When you think about what's actually coming out from the novels, you've got Gaunt's Ghosts, Felix and Gotrek, Cypher's Kate hasn't started yet. But that's really about it. Everything else that's coming out is one and done novels. You're not getting series, you're not getting the franchise name, so to speak, for a while yet.
Yeah.
It baffles me there's no Felix and Gotrek story in Warhammer Monthly.
Yeah, that, as we said, that should have been quite early on.
Yeah. Even if it was adapting one of the short stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would have been my launch, would have been Felix and Gotrek. And because of by their very nature, they're random questing characters, they allow you to open up the world of Warhammer, so you have an ongoing story.
Well, we talked about this a little bit last week, and it's baffling to me that the lead-in isn't Felix and Gotrek.
Yeah.
Why you don't have Felix and Gotrek in the Judge Dredd position. Maybe not all the time, but having them going off and doing adventures each month, and having that as the first story in there, it baffles me, because you have an inbuilt audience.
Yeah.
Everybody loves, even here, where you've got the Will Kings now on the third of the Black Library. The first one that isn't a full reprint, isn't a half reprint. But before then, you had Ignorant Armies, Wolf Riders. Felix and Gotrek have been around for 15 years at this point. Yeah. It's a strange one, very strange one.
Yeah, just it's odd, and like I'm struggling to even remember if we do get Felix and Gotrek in Warhammer Monthly at all.
No, I don't think we do. From my memory, we do not ever get Felix and Gotrek. In fact, I would even go as far to say I don't think we ever get a named character strip. I think any name that we get is something that starts in Warhammer Monthly, and if Ariel Stern, Cal Jericho, they'll start here, end up in characters of themselves much later on. I don't think Warhammer Monthly adapts any existing characters to take place, which is baffling. As we said, just why wouldn't you? As you said, I think part of it is because it's just such broad strokes that, in terms of the game doesn't become that sort of where it becomes from like 8th edition onwards, really, where there is some kind of forward narrative momentum. It's really the only thing I can think of. But like I said, it's an odd choice that you haven't picked someone to be the anchor for the book. Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like we're going to either.
No. Because you would have thought that by this point, somebody would have stepped forward to think, we have this character, why don't we do something with it? And no character stays around long enough consecutively to become that. They just come in and out. Now, maybe that's on point. Maybe the reason for that is that they wanted to generate new concepts going forward, but it seems weird that you don't have a lead-in for something that's already there. Somebody's already got a built-in fan base. And it doesn't need to be Felix and Gotrek. You've got Othello the Bard. Why not just bring him in to do short stories from the old world? It's just again, it's what we kind of what we've talked about a lot in these is when we're criticizing, it's always framed by missed opportunities. But it's not things that we're doing like archaeological deep dives on in terms of going, it's fairly obvious low-hanging fruit. So part of me thinks it is conscious decision rather than any kind of glaring error. Mm-hmm. Unless there's anything wrong with, for example, do they have the rights to do Felix and Gotrek? They do. At this point, because they've got hold of Will King again. They've got all of his short stories back in publication.
But remember, do they own it outright? He might still have a stake in terms of you can only.
At this point, actually, that's a good question because it's not for another 8 or 9 years before Nathan Long takes over with the Felix and Gotrek stories. I think you got another 2006, 2007 would be Will King's last Felix and Gotrek story. then Nathan King takes over with Slayer. And he stays on till David Geimer, I think. But I mean, I would guess that it would be work for hire, so Games Workshop would own Felix and Gotrek. All the Felix and Gotrek books were done for Games Workshop, so Games Workshop own the characters. They have done since the beginning. And the only reason that they stayed out of publication for a while is because Will King moved to Prague and everyone lost contact with him.
I'm going on a very big stag do.
Which is funny because there's a Prague in the old world, and a lot of some of the later Felix and Gotrek books take place there. So yeah, very, very weird.
But yeah, as we said, it should always have been a pick someone to be your, like as I said last time, 2000 AD, Dread didn't become the linchpin early on, but they did have, Dan Dare was the guy to start with. Dread, yeah. But it just feels like they haven't picked anybody at all, and it does feel like a conscious decision that they're going, no, it's going to be a proper revolving round. And we're seeing sort of the folks coming in and around, because obviously we now have Darkblade back. We'll probably have Titan fairly soon, and the Monastery's book 2 we know we're going to get.
Yeah.
And there is the threat of a second Dwarf Lord.
No. Oh god. Does that mean there's going to be a point where there's Darkblade and Dwarf Lords? Oh. I don't know if I can do that issue. I might get George to stand in for me.
Can't go weak sauce on that.
I'll gird my loins. I'll get ready for it.
But I'm just trying to think, did they come back? Or did they just kind of cut the losses at the end of book 1 and go, nah, you're alright?
Let's have a look, see. My god, there's... What's funny is whenever I start searching for anything for Warhammer Monthly, do you know what comes up?
What?
Us. So the problem I've got with the old Bluebird game Havoc, where it's really hard to find any information on Havoc now, because I've accidentally made myself the world's leading expert on Havoc. There is no information on Dwarf Lords at all.
It's just the threat of them coming back. Well, we know they're coming back because they're going to round up issue 1, but by the same token, it was just like, nah.
Yeah, I think they come back in issue 15, something around there. Finish off. Yeah, issue 15. They come back at issue 15, and I think that's it. I do not think they come back to that.
Praise the Lord.
But even better though, I don't normally look ahead, and I shouldn't look ahead. I was just checking to see if Dwarf Lord came back, and it looks like he doesn't. But issue 16, Redeemer, starts, which I'm very much looking forward to. I've got a lot of good memories for Redeemer.
Is that the Pat Mills one with...
Yes. Yeah, based on Necromunda with the guy with the big fiery hat.
Yeah.
And the chainsaw, yeah. It's very Pat Mills.
Yeah, again, religious. Any chance to have a dig at the Catholic Church, Pat's there.
Yep, absolutely. So with all that being said, I think we shall start getting out of here. Andy, what would you like to pimp if you've got things to pimp?
Let's see. By now, we're post-TFN, so we'll be on the road to TFN Minicon in Reading. So hopefully there'll be some announcements on that. Tickets may still be on sale. We may have sold out. I'd like us... Part of me is like, I always like, a sellout is good, but basically telling folk they can't come because there's not enough space is never a good feeling.
No.
By this point, all going well, certain things should be in place, and there should be movement on Juggermorph. If you've been to TFN, hopefully you've had the Ashcan, and we have more content on the way.
Genuinely way too excited for Juggermorph than I should be.
Well, no, there is no level of excitement you should or should not be at for Juggermorph. This should be paramount amongst all your concerns.
Absolutely. Having this long lost relic of a bygone age in my hands is something I'm very much looking forward to.
And while it won't make good podcasting, at this point, the first original page was done over the weekend.
Oh man, genuinely excited.
So that should be in hand. So you'll find me addcomics.bsky.social, and if I've got anything else up and running at that point, there'll be links aplenty in that. I will be pimping that out something fierce. I do look around on the Fluff and Hammer Discord, but I just Discord is not generally a thing for me, if I'm being honest.
No.
I find it combines classic forums and social media, but doesn't get either right.
No. I've actually started conversations with people recently about, is it worth attempting to bring forums back for the Fluff and Hammer? And I'm still not decided, which is interesting because I thought the answer would be a resounding no. There's a fair few people out there who'd be interested in just returning to forums.
Yeah.
So that might be a thing that ends up happening. I might go proper old school and have a forum. We shall see. As for myself, you can find me on Blue Sky at the Fluff and Hammer. You can find us on, well, anywhere you look. Just search for the Fluff and Hammer, you'll find us. I'm multi-attack type person. But stuff comes out every day. You can have anything from the heavy metal galleries, where I have scanned every single page from every single White Dwarf of the heavy metal paint, and it goes up on a Monday. So you get every issue's heavy metal pages every Monday. Wonderful little journey through the history of Games Workshop. On a Wednesday, you get the Deep Dives, which is a Patreon episode where we find an article from the publication history of Games Workshop and discuss that article in depth, and also forget to discuss the article and also go off on tangents and sometimes talk about things that have nothing to do with the article, however. But it's an hour of a good time. Show goes up on a Friday, so week 1 is the Fluff and Hammer main show. Week 2 is the Warhammer, this one that you're listening to, WHAM. So yeah, and outside of that, there's enough stuff for me to put out 3 times a day, daily, for the next 6 years on the site. So come and join us. I do a lot of stuff. Also, I've got books out. You can buy my books on Amazon. Go buy my books on Amazon under AD Nickel. Yeah, one's an art book, one's a skirmish game. Go buy my books. I'm done. I do too much. With all that being said, we're going to get out of here. So thank you, Mike.
Oh, a pleasure as always.
And thank you very much to you guys at home for listening, if indeed you still are. Goodbye.
Farewell.